What's moving almost everything heavy, silently, efficiently, until, well, it stops being efficient. We're talking about industrial castors, those little wheels. They're sort of the unsung heroes of movement. You find them everywhere. So today we're doing a deep dive into these really vital components. Our mission, basically to give you a shortcut to understanding these small but mighty wheels. We'll pinpoint the key warning signs that they're wearing out, and crucially, we'll give you the practical steps to fix them. You'll see how knowing about these seemingly minor details can actually boost efficiency, make things easier for workers, and head off some pretty costly problems.
Yeah, it's fascinating, isn't it, how often they just get overlooked? Almost taken for granted, really, until something goes wrong. Right. And that neglect, it leads to real downsides you might not even connect to the Castor at first, like more downtime for equipment, genuine safety risks, and repairs that honestly could probably have been avoided. So this deep dive, it's really about giving you that practical knowledge, how to spot issues early and deal with them proactively before they become big headaches.
Okay, let's start unpacking this. Let's talk about what you feel first. You know when you grab a cart and it just fights you, it doesn't want to go where you push it. What's usually going on when equipment suddenly gets hard to steer?
That's a classic sign. The first one you usually notice. And it almost always points to worn or jammed Castor wheels. Think like a stubborn shopping cart wheel, but usually carrying something much heavier or more important, the resistance. It's often just dirt, maybe debris like threads or hair, even bits of plastic wrap getting tangled around the axle or stuck in the fork. That's the metal bracket holding the wheel.
So it's a physical blockage causing that feeling, not just wear and tear. What's the quickest way to check that and hopefully fix it?
Exactly. The debris creates friction. It stops the wheel spinning freely, or stops the whole thing swiveling like it should. The fix can be surprisingly simple. First step, just look closely. See if you can pull out any threads or gunk from around the axle or inside that fork. Then, make cleaning the wheels and swivel joints part of a regular routine. And, this is important, don't forget to lubricate the swivel bearings. Use a suitable grease. It's not just for immediate smoothness. Good lubrication prevents that metal-on-metal grinding, which wears things out fast. It keeps it pivoting nicely under load.
Right, lubrication. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Now, moving beyond the feel, what about what you can actually see? On the wheel itself, what are we looking for on the tread?
Yeah, the tread. You're looking for uneven wear. Like flat spots or bald spots. This isn't just about looks. It directly affects how smoothly it rolls. It can cause vibrations, and it can even start damaging your floors, especially softer ones. And what's happening is that uneven wear puts extra sort of unbalanced strain on the whole Castor assembly, the bearings, the fork. It accelerates wear elsewhere.
Okay, so it's like a chain reaction. One part wears unevenly, and it stresses everything else out. How do we prevent that? Or catch it early?
Well, the fix is pretty straightforward, but you have to be consistent. Regular inspection of the treads. That's the key. If you see uneven wear or bald spots, replace those wheels straight away. Don't wait. And when you replace them, think about the material. Choose something durable for your specific environment. Like you might use a softer rubber on a smooth hospital floor for grip and quietness. But that same wheel will get chewed up fast on rough concrete. For rough surfaces, maybe nylon or even cast iron is better, even if it's noisier. It's about matching the wheel's hardness, the durometer to your floor, and the kind of debris it might encounter. It's a trade-off, really.
Okay, so we've got feel, we've got visual checks on the wheel itself. What about sound? When the equipment starts, telling you something's wrong, what noises should make our ears prick up?
Yes, the complaining equipment. Loud squeaks, maybe groans, or like a grinding noise. Those are definite red flags. They're often telling you about worn bearings, those little things inside that let the wheel spin smoothly, or just not enough lubrication. Sometimes it can be actual physical damage to the wheel, too.
So the equipment's basically shouting for maintenance. How do we silence those alarms effectively?
First step, try lubricating the wheel bearings and the swivel joints properly. That often sorts out minor squeaks. But if the noise carries on even after you've lubricated it, that's a pretty strong sign that the bearings are shot, or maybe the wheel itself is damaged. Time for replacement. Oh, and quick check, make sure the wheels are actually suitable for the floor type. Sometimes using a hard wheel on, say, rough concrete just generates noise, besides wearing things out faster.
Right. We've covered the subtle things, feel, sound, but sometimes the problems are just staring you in the face. Visible cracks or breaks in the wheel, that seems obvious, but what's the real danger?
Obvious, yes, but the danger is significant. This is where safety really becomes the #1 concern. Cracks, chips, bits broken off. They directly compromise the Castor's load capacity. Castor rated for, say, 500 pounds might only safely hold a fraction of that if it's cracked. It becomes a major safety hazard. It makes you ask, why does this happen? Even with seemingly good equipment. Often it's overloading, maybe sharp impacts, extreme temperatures, or just using a material that wasn't right for that specific job.
That's a really critical point. It's not just about function, it's fundamentally about safety. So, spot a crack, what's the immediate action? No messing about.
Absolutely no messing about. Regular visual inspection is key to catching this. And crucially, if you see damage, replace that wheel immediately. Never ever try to repair a cracked Castor wheel or bracket, especially not on something load-bearing. The risk is just far too high. It reinforces the need to use wheels made of the right stuff, rated for the actual load and the environment they live in. It's an upfront thought that prevents accidents later.
Okay, let's talk stability. For equipment that needs to stay put, sometimes think a medical cart, maybe a heavy workbench. What about the locks? What happens when those fail? Seems small, but the consequences could be huge.
It's definitely not a small detail. It's a core safety feature. Lots of industrial castors have locks for precisely that reason, keeping things stationary and secure. If those locks don't hold reliably, you can get dangerous, uncontrolled movement, especially if the equipment's heavy, or maybe on a slight slope, or if it gets bumped. Imagine, vital equipment rolling away at a critical moment. That's the kind of risk we're talking about.
Yeah, okay, that paints a picture. So, ensuring stability is paramount. How do we keep those locks trustworthy?
First off, check the locking mechanism itself. Look for obvious dirt, grit, or any signs of damage. Often, just giving the lock parts a good clean and a bit of lubrication is enough to get it working right again. But if it still doesn't lock securely after you've cleaned and lubed it, that locking caster needs replacing. No question, don't take chances with a dodgy lock.
What if the issue isn't movement, but stability when it's moving, or even stationary, like the whole thing feels wobbly or looks uneven?
Right, wobbling or sitting unevenly. That often signals that one or more of the castors is damaged, or perhaps they've just worn down unevenly compared to the others on the same piece of equipment. And if you think bigger picture, that affects load distribution, which can damage the equipment itself or whatever it's carrying. It also impacts ergonomics for the person using it. Plus, uneven loading puts extra stress on the remaining good castors, making them wear out faster too.
So it throws the whole balance off. How do we fix that and get things level and stable again?
You need to check all the wheels. Are they the same size? Are they all in similar condition? Are they securely attached? Replace any that are clearly mismatched or much more worn than the others? And it's also a good time to double check. Are all the castors actually rated for the load this piece of equipment carries? Sometimes things get overloaded, or maybe the original spec wasn't quite right for the real-world use.
Okay, let's shift gears slightly to more subtle signs, maybe environmental factors. That frustration when a cart struggles to get over small bumps, like cracks in the floor or even just the edge of a mat. What's happening there?
Oh yeah, that's a common annoyance. It can certainly be down to worn wheels, as we've discussed.
Yeah.
But often, it's also just that the wheel size or the material